getting compensated at all throughout this process?
I still haven't taken any money. I'm in the red. I'm in the negative $12 million. Like to this day, like I still haven't been paid anything. Everybody else have ate and eaten well off of this platform. Like when I talk about being in the valley and all of that, like, and I wouldn't change it for the world, because like to me, I still visualize being on that second mountain at the top. Like Barstool just completed herself for $640 million, uninterrupted, sitting on a $740 million valuation. Joe Rogan did what with Spotify? $300 million. The Ringer, $250 million. When Fred Taylor sit down with me, right, and he don't put up any money, but he say he want to put up money, but he don't after a year, and my investment goes to $500 to $1 million, Eisen, and now he's asking for 25% in the company, and I'm like, bro, that just don't make sense to me.
Okay, now stop.
Okay.
Keep your point. Have you ever received any money from Fred Taylor, Reggie Wayne, Channing Crowder?
No. I've paid them.
Okay, now, looking from it from your side, right, they feel, I would feel if I were them, I would say, even though I never put a dime in, but I helped grow this entity, I'm not owed 25%?
No.
Why?
You're not owed 25% because I sat down from the beginning and I said, all right, here's the opportunity. Boom, here y'all go. I advise y'all to do y'all same research that I did. Keeps rising, and now he's asking for 20.
Get into, but also Cam did a show with the other guy, and there was a lot said about Channing, a lot said about you, a lot said about Alicia, things said about me.
Just for everybody, whoever the other person is, or if they don't know who the other person is, I think Brandon Marshall might be the biggest coward on the planet, simply because he's on his clout chasing tour. You know, and I also kind of came across something that he said about Shannon Sharpe, which is crazy. You know, so why at this point in the game you're hopping around podcasts, you know, talking about everybody? It's a bad look, and obviously I've read some of the comments, and a lot of people agree that he's embarrassing himself. But just a lot of lying, a lot of manipulative movements, you know, pretty much how he was with everybody that he's encountered. But my question to everybody, because I can get into so much, look who was always with someone. I think the real question is, where are those people that started with him? You know, me and Channing, Ocho, all the other people that were on the show that he went to recruit after Channing and I left. Everybody disappeared. And if you were right, if you stood for anything, if your integrity was high, then people will still, you know, rock with you. But nobody's there right now. So
acting like he made me. That's the thing I can't stand. How you make me when I made your podcast, or our podcast supposedly, but it really wasn't ours, as we found out. Then go to another one, create another thing that bigger than that even was. That's the thing that got hot about me. You ain't make me. Pauline Pope and Randy Crowder made me. I created myself. I do all this. So that's the one thing. And like for instance, there's a lot to get into about the lies. Anytime you want to talk about numbers, anytime you want to talk about contracts and what, show receipts. Don't just say this 25,000 or maybe it was 250 or maybe 1.2 million. Show receipts. If you feel that way, there are some contracts that are done on paper. So if you really want to put numbers out there, we can show receipts. But don't act like you made a motherfucker pitch.
Yo, it's Big Ant, the spokesman, man. We back. Another edition of Urban Politicians TV, UPTV. Make sure you stay on your pivot at all times, man. Had to come tap in. And how ironic is it today on this Sunday, we got to talk about the Pivot Podcast. And I'm going to have links in the description from Cam Newton Podcast, where he had Brandon Marshall on last week. And the conversation, of course, came up about the I Am Athlete split. Several things were said about the business from his point of view, his perspective, and we see it circulating all over the internet. And also, I'll have the Pivot link in the description, because on both sides, a lot more was said. And first and foremost, I do want to send condolences to Fred Taylor and his entire family with the loss of his grandmother. They opened the episode up speaking on that. So condolences to everybody close to her, him, any friends or anybody that's going through it with that loss right there. Most definitely. And we saw when this split up happened a while back, it got talked about online. People spoke their sides, interviews went on and things like that. But this time it's turned all the way up. Is it to hit all the Instagram blogs, Twitter, and everything. And I think it's more the verbiage being used that got it all the way going left this time. I had got hip to I Am Athlete probably like a little bit into the pandemic and everything. Most definitely Channing Crowder, when he just started taking off with some of the stuff he was saying, had a nigga glued in. I was talking about it online and stuff like that on some live streams before, because that nigga is entertaining as hell. Let's just call it what it is, bro. That nigga like a live wire for sure. But then we seen Reggie Wayne leave at first. Conversations and rumors was all over the place. He was saying the business wasn't right. That eventually came out that, hey, he wasn't seeing eye to eye. And I guess they determined as he got fired or he left or whatever. However they went with that, they went with that. Then Channing Crowder, Fred Taylor, Alicia, the producer leaving, that turned it into something else. And we start hitting the business, and this wasn't on point, that wasn't on point. Now, Channing Crowder, I understand where bro coming from right here. That nigga say, you made me. That's gonna make any nigga gonna say, bitch, what you mean you made me, my nigga, as a grown man? Not to mention, Channing Crowder been on radio 10 years speaking after NFL career. First of all, nigga, my parents made me, nigga. That's out of pocket, out of line, and out of bounds. Ryan Clark, as he said, you lied on me, you lied on Alicia. Ryan Clark said that Brandon Marshall called him corny before. Fred Taylor is like, nigga, you ain't got no integrity. Why is everybody left the show? If you so solid, you so 100, you keeping it a band. Brandon Marshall was saying, hey, bro, I told y'all about investing into it. Why would I give y'all 25% if y'all didn't want to invest? Cam Newton even challenged it himself in the podcast. Well, hold on, bro. They worked, and they likeness is what turned the podcast up. Them being a part of the podcast made it available for this money to be made. Niggas gonna have their different perspectives. I was not there for any business discussions, no contract dealings or signings, but Channing Crowder is say, my nigga, produce the paperwork, produce the receipts. If all this stuff went in, all this investing, all this money you claim that you lost and stuff like that, where the receipts at and everything? We went, we did the Pivot podcast, we all turned back up again. The same people that you said, hey, nigga, they don't need no 25% of this, and we turned up all the way. And I'm gonna tell you like this, bro, one of the things about business, it got to be transparent. You got to be honest. You got to be straightforward to make it work out. We see a lot of split up in this podcast game. We see a lot of niggas stick together in this podcast game. It's just one of them things now because people start coming in. Niggas want to go up. Niggas like this nigga here want the bigger slice. Or they like, nah, nigga, we came in too. We contributed too. And you got to let people know directly what it is, what you trying to do and where you trying to go with it. Just keeping it all the way 1,000. But they going to pop their little stuff. It's entertaining to hear what they got to say if we gonna keep it all the way 1,000. That nigga Channing Crowder gonna have a nigga rolling all the time. That's just who he is. But tell me what y'all think. We got more coming, more videos, all that. 1,000 for shit show. Stay on your pivot.